My name is Belinda Wasser, also known as Rocket Girl, and today we're going to talk about how to handle your mistakes. When we work as virtual assistants, it's very difficult to never make a mistake. But what really is important is how we handle those mistakes and what we do as a result. So today I'm going to talk about how to work with a client when you've made a mistake, and how really you can make your relationship even more strong if it's handled with sensitivity and thoughtfulness. All right, so the first thing when you make a mistake, don't panic. Really, don't panic, because I find that what happens when we panic, a couple of things. One, our brains lock and we're not able to think through a creative solution, which is exactly what we need in that moment. So don't panic. Almost every mistake, mistakes have different consequences. And so some mistakes are bigger than others, but stay calm. The second thing is to take ownership. If you make a mistake, think about, okay, why did that happen? What was I doing? And we'll talk more in a minute about putting a system in place so that doesn't happen again. But the last thing that your client's going to want to hear is that you're not responsible. It was someone else. Because if the project belongs to you and you're managing it, whether someone else made a mistake or not, it's important to take ownership of it. This is really important. Acknowledge how the client feels. I believe that this step is skipped often because someone's panicking about the mistake, but really acknowledge, okay, so how would I feel if a newsletter went out that I worked on for months and the subject line was wrong? Is someone going to die? No, but really they're disappointed, or they're sad, or they're upset, and that might come out in a number of different ways. So sort of brace yourself, because they could have all kinds of reactions, and hopefully they'll be understanding, but they might not be understanding right in that moment that they find out about the mistake. Figure out what happened. There's usually a reason for a mistake. I know for me, one time I made a mistake. There was a link in an email newsletter that was supposed to go out, and it was to the audio. And when I looked back, I realized the phone rang, I answered it, and I skipped a step. And that was really critical for this email, to not have that audio. So if you can figure out what happened, so now what I do is I do the audio link first, because that's the one thing about this email newsletter that's different from other client newsletters. So by doing that first, I'm sure that it's done. And it's also the last thing I check before I send a test to my client. I click on that link and make sure that it's the right audio file. So figure out what happened, really important. And fix it. So, in the case of a newsletter or something that's repetitive, it could just be that you need a checklist. You're trying to hold too much in your head, because things that are repetitive that we do over and over, having a checklist makes sure that we don't make the mistake again. I think clients are mostly understanding if we make a mistake once in a certain situation, but if it happens again and again, it starts to feel like we're not taking it seriously, or we're being careless. And then the last thing, and this is sort of the icing on the cake, I think, but in the case of the email newsletter where I skipped the link to the audio, the next time I did the newsletter for him, I said, I just want you to know that I checked the link. So acknowledging it, acknowledging that something was left out. And mistakes happen. Like I said, there are different consequences for mistakes. Some are very public, and some happen just in the test mode. But even in the test mode, we want to acknowledge that maybe we skipped a step, and let the client know and reassure them that we really are doing our best work for them, because they're important to us. So I'm going to check for comments. Before I do, I just want to take a minute and invite you all to my wonderful online community. It lives on Facebook, and it's called the VA Connection, the Virtual Assistant Connection. And it's an online community committed to training and connecting virtual assistants all over the world. We have over 900 members now, which is amazing. And I'd love to have you join us. There's two ways to find us. One is by typing the Virtual Assistant Connection at the top of Facebook in the search bar, and you'll be brought right to our group. And the second is to follow this bit.ly link, bit.ly.vaconnection.com. So I would love to see you over there. It doesn't look like we have any comments right now, but if you are watching the replay, please put your comments right here, and I will circle back around and answer any questions you have. So until next time, I'm Belinda Wasser signing off. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.